say specifically, I don't think it's specifically.
So it's specifically just, it says follow the law. The United States Supreme Court just recently in Students for Fair Admissions versus President and Fellows of Harvard College basically just said, we're going to eliminate racial discrimination, which means eliminate all of it. And there's an equal protection clause. Even our state constitution says very, very similar things. We prohibit the state from granting preferential treatment or discrimination of any kind based on race. And so that's basically what it says. It says we're going to stop using state dollars for DEI officers. Let's literally focus on the kids, use those monies to educate kids instead of trying to preferential treat people based on their race. So that's what it says. But also, I think it's important. It highlights and says, let's work on supporting first generation college students, regardless of their race. Let's make sure that we talk about that. We talk about students from low income families. Isn't that really what we're trying to do here? People look at me and they don't think I'm disadvantaged, but did you know that I am part Indian? So when you talk about race, it's like, what is race? What do we have to, how much Indian do you have to be? So we're talking about students with unique abilities. We're talking about underserved student populations. So that it goes through that. I'll give you a copy of the executive order, but that's basically what we're saying. We're spending too much state dollars on DEI officers, and we need to stop that in the state of Oklahoma.
The press release mentions the review of DEI policies. Is there a timeline you want to put in place for these schools? Is you want that information back to them? How do they go forward for this executive order?
Yeah, so we're asking all the state agencies, including the universities, to report back by May of 2024 on exactly what they're spending on DEI. And we need to give that report back to the legislature. So we've asked for a report back to myself, to the leadership in the Senate, and the leadership in the House as well. That'll be given over to the appropriations chairs, and obviously all the Senate and the House members will be here to review that data. So it'll be May of 2024.
Governor Stitt, you mentioned first-time college students. I don't know if you're aware, but some of the activity that DEI offices on college campuses do is to help people like first-time college students, veterans, maybe those are two examples I can think of off the top of my head that are, students being helped not specifically because of their race or ethnicity or anything like that. Are you concerned that, potentially limiting DEI activity on campuses could actually potentially have the adverse effect on first-time college students and veterans?
Not at all. I specifically, I encourage that. I encourage low-income areas. That's called an admission office. So we want that in our universities. Obviously, we want them recruiting, and we want them, applying the same standards across the board. But I specifically, in this order, have said I encourage them to look for low-income areas and encourage you to look for first-generation college students. But to me, that's an admissions office.
One more question. Many of the federally funded programs ask that there be DEI requirements to get grants and federal funding for some colleges. So how would this hinder colleges in Oklahoma if we didn't have those programs as far as funding is concerned?
There's always the people that'll say, well, it's the accreditation officers that are forcing us to do this or that. We'll cross that bridge when it comes, whether it's accreditation or not. I represent 4 million Oklahomans as the governor. I've heard from all over the state that they're just tired of wasting our dollars on something that tries to divide us. And in Oklahoma, we're a melting pot, and we have a great communities, whether it's our Hispanic community in Oklahoma, it's about 12% of our population, our African-American community. But let's admit people based on their merits, and let's not discriminate based on race. That's all we're saying here. And so that's the big point, and we can nuance everything. We want to be top 10 in education in Oklahoma, and let's get back to the basics, and let's stop trying to divide Oklahomans. And that's really what we're trying to say here today. So thank y'all so much.